Former President Trump asking the Supreme Court to reject a request by special counsel Jack Smith.
Smith has asked the High Court to fast-track a decision on whether Trump has immunity from federal prosecution for alleged crimes that he committed while in office. Now, that's a legal question that needs to be settled before Trump's federal election interference trial, which is scheduled to start in March. But Trump's attorneys want the issue to go through the regular process and be heard by an appeals court first, which could delay the trial. The Supreme Court could announce at any time whether they will hear the matter on an expedited basis.
Serena Marshall joining us from Washington with more. I mean, it seems like this is the week where it became quite clear the Supreme Court potentially, more likely than not, is going to play a huge role in the contours of the 2024 race. Today, another example. Good morning to you.
Yeah, another example is right, and the former president is asking actually the Supreme Court to not get involved, to not weigh in, and it comes back to that question of does he have immunity from federal prosecution for alleged crimes he committed while in office? And the former president was waiting until that final hour. He had until December 20th to make that request to the Supreme Court. But let's go back first. This all has to do with the special counsel's 2020 election interference case. Now, that was the case that brought 4 federal counts, including conspiracy to defraud the U.S., stemming from the interference on January 6th. He had pleaded not guilty to all of those, but also previously asked a judge to dismiss it on the grounds that he had presidential immunity. A federal judge, though, rejected that request. Now, instead of wading through the court tiers, the process, Jack Smith, the special counsel, asked the Supreme Court to take the rare step of reviewing the issue before a federal appeals court in Washington weighed in. Writing in that request earlier this month, it is of imperative public importance that respondents' claims of immunity be resolved by this court and that the respondent's trial proceed as promptly as possible if his claim of immunity is rejected. The United States recognizes that this is an extraordinary request. This is an extraordinary case, but within hours of that request to the Supreme Court, they agreed to consider it, and on that expedited basis, giving Trump until yesterday to submit his response. And last night, his attorneys met that deadline and requested they reject it. Writing, the special counsel urges this court to bypass those ordinary procedures, including the longstanding preference for prior consideration by at least one court of appeals, and rush to decide the issue with reckless abandon, essentially saying that the special counsel can't leapfrog over the process. Legal analysts saying this is part of Trump team's legal strategy, hoping to delay the case beyond the election, beyond possibly even next year, or 2024's inauguration. In that filing, the justices could announce at any time whether they will hear the case. And again, the special counsel wanting that decision soon because the case is set to begin March 4th. Now, keep in mind, you guys, what's happening on March 5th? That is Super Tuesday.
Other than that, nothing's getting complicated at all. It's all very straightforward. It's not hard to follow at all. What a surreal time.
Yeah.
Serena.
Thank you.